Hey fam, welcome to my channel. I figured that in order to get myself to post consistently that I just need to be posting, not overthinking it, not taking forever in a day to edit a vlog or whatever. So occasionally I just do little yap sessions like this and talk about things that I'm knowledgeable about or whatever I'm going through. But today I want to give you all advice on burnout, how to recover from burnout, the signs of burnout, that sort of thing, because I've been there. I have been there, and I'm at the point in my journey where I have decided to leave the corporate world entirely after being let go about a year and a half ago. And I have spent so much time healing and rewiring my entire sense of self, even, and overcoming that burnout. So I figured let's just have a little FaceTime vibe going while I clean my disaster of a room, and let's talk about it. So I'm assuming if you clicked on this video that you are thinking that you maybe are experiencing burnout, or you know for sure that you're burnt out and you're like, girl, what do I do? So I'm gonna tell you. And it starts with the fact that burnout is no joke. Like, let's just pause and really address that. I think that a lot of times we are wired to, I'm sorry, Kitty, but I'm gonna take this. We're wired to think like our productivity is so important, especially here in America. Shout out Americans. um, and we get to this point in our lives, in our careers, where success is so important, making money is so important, and productivity becomes so highly valued that we can get caught up in it and even lose our sense of self in it. And maybe that's where you're at. Maybe that's where you're at, or maybe you're experiencing burnout from just going too hard, you know? It doesn't always have to do with productivity in the workplace. You can burn yourself out by being too hard on yourself and having high expectations on yourself when it comes to other things as well, like working out or whatever it might be. So burnout has a lot to do with what we value, and how we find ourselves to be worthy. So if you're in a situation right now, it's time to sort of take a step back, look at it from above, and see what steps you can take to shift your life if you need to, or just take actions that will help you to heal and recover, and maybe keep going. In my experience, I did not keep going after I experienced burnout. I had an insane major life shift. So I'm hoping maybe that can be inspiring to some if that's what you feel like you need. Let's think. Signs of burnout. Let's read it. All right, so we've got feeling numb or disconnected from things you used to enjoy. I definitely felt that way when I was burnt out, mostly because I was overvaluing the workplace. Like, from when I woke up to when I went to sleep, I was working, I was hustling, I was trying to get to the next level in my job. And most people at my job, it was the same type of culture, same type of environment. And I so highly valued my experience there that it became my whole life. And when it came to anything else that I used to enjoy, like outside of the workplace, like getting outdoors, exercise, fitness, beauty, all of that, like I slowly stopped giving any time and attention to. That is a major red flag and a sign that you don't have proper boundaries in place to protect yourself in the workplace. And I don't think that this bullet point is only referencing feeling numb or disconnected from the things that you used to enjoy outside of work. It also can be inside of work. So it's a kind of like a general feeling of, what's the word? Apathy, or it just feels like your spark has been drained and you're struggling to feel the same that you always have because your body is telling you that you need to rest and rejuvenate and come back anew. So if you felt that symptom, let me know. Another symptom is brain fog, so struggling to focus on even one simple task. I definitely experienced that, and it ended up leading to me in the wrong direction at my workplace because, for one, I have ADHD. Shout out ADHDers. But that's another serious reason why you should be addressing your burnout and not just pushing through it, because it does have effects that make you less effective when you think that focusing so hard on work or pushing yourself so hard is making you more effective. It can actually get in your way and sabotage you in the long run. Resentment. So if you feel resentment towards your bosses, towards yourself, especially yourself. This is a big one. Sorry, my camera died. But yes, burnout can manifest as resentment, and it's pretty obvious if you're not generally a negative person or like pessimistic person that you might be burnt out, because having feelings of resentment pile up towards the things that you have to do, the people who are assigning you work or just people around you, and your responsibilities, then that's a big problem. Come with me because I'm about to take a pizza out of my oven, and y'all are unfortunately going to see my messy apartment. Cute. Go love that for me. The biggest sign of burnout is chronic fatigue. And let's be real, y'all don't even need me to tell you that you're burnt out if you're watching this. If you're watching this, it either means that you actually are burnt out, or you're like headed in that direction and you're scared, or maybe you're even thinking of like a career change, one of those things. Because why else would you be watching this video? Why else would you be watching this video? Check out my pizza. It's beautiful. Let's go back to the room. I feel like the biggest sign for burnout is usually the chronic fatigue. Like if it's not normal for you to wake up and feel like I hate my life, if you didn't feel that way before this job or whatever situation you're in, then that is a very obvious sign that you are experiencing burnout. Y'all, I'm trying to be helpful. I can't tell if I'm just being cringy, but maybe this helps someone. Let me know if it's helpful. Those are the signs that you're experiencing burnout. Now, the next thing to address from here is like, okay, thanks for explaining all that, MJ. I already know, but what do I do? What did you do? Well, I pushed myself really hard until it stopped working. I held on so tight to my job and the work and my position until God shook me by the shoulders. Like I was like, imagine like me being in like my job is a tree and I was just holding on for dear life to it. And then God was like, girl, why aren't you listening to your gut? Why aren't you listening to your body? Why aren't you listening to your heart? You don't feel good. You don't, oh, there goes my earphone. You don't feel right. Like it's time for a change. It's time for you to either address it, to switch things up, switch your perspective. You got to do something. This is not sustainable. I didn't listen. I was like, and then God eventually just shook me, shook the whole freaking tree, and then was like, now what are you gonna do? Now you didn't listen, so I made you listen. And I was let go of my position. And then multiple people were let go at my company. So I should have listened to the signs. And if you have any warning signs, like if you've had any gut feelings like, maybe it's time for me to like look into a new venture, start doing it now. You will regret not have done doing it now. Most people, when they quit a job, their only regret is that they didn't do it sooner. So that's just a little tidbit for you. So if you're curious what I'm drinking, I've got a Gia. Can you see it? A Gia ginger. It's a non-alcoholic aperitif. It's so tasty. And I've got cute little ice cubes that are now melted, but they were shaped like stars and hearts. But this is so good. P.S. This is my first day like feeling 90% better after being sick. So that's why I'm kind of acting like a spaz. I'm not gonna lie, I'm always kind of a spaz. But yeah, I'm feeling really good for once. I'm so excited about it. All right, back to burnout though. So you got to address it. You got to address it, girl. I don't know what else to tell you. It will come back to bite you. If you somehow manage to make this sustainable for a long period of time, you'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have to address it because I can just keep going and only adjust this or only adjust that. Like, that might be the case. I agree with you, but your health's going to take, what's it called? Your health's going to take a toll in the long run. You're either going to be doing a number on your body physically, you're going to be damaging like your eyesight, your cognition, something. Chronic stress kills. Chronic stress leads to, this is science, leads to other health ailments. It leads to heart disease. It leads to high blood pressure. It leads to loads of things that I can't even list off. So it's really important that even if you're in a position with your workplace where you don't even feel like completely burnt out yet, like you feel like you could keep doing this, you really should check in with yourself and ask yourself like, am I feeling chronic stress? And how can I address that? Because it's not worth it in the long run. It will affect your health. It will affect your lifespan in the long run. Okay, what the heck am I doing over here? So yeah, if that to start was a little bit intense, I'm sorry, but this is hanging on my door because it has a stain on it that I need to get out. Stick that in the laundry. How do we go about rewiring your mind? Well, let's talk for a second about neuroplasticity. So a lot of times we kind of get into this mental framework that like, I can't change, that like, this is just how I am. Or I don't want to change this situation in my life because it gives me stability, because I'm scared. I'm afraid of the unknown. Like this job has such great benefits. Like I wouldn't be able to get these same perks anywhere else. Hold on, I forgot to turn that oven off. Maybe we'll address fear, worry, doubt in another video because your thought patterns completely hold you back and you should not be making actions that are fueled by fear, worry, and doubt. You should be making actions that are fueled by your desire to be who you want to be in the future. Joy, happiness, to fulfill future you. Or even inner child you. Like, you should be more driven by that than by fear and doubt. But that's probably for a whole nother video. Neuroplasticity is basically the idea that the nerves in your brain are able to like, how do I explain this? So like, let's say I have a thought, I suck. Just keep it real simple. I have this thought that like, I suck. And the more that I think that, the more that those nerves, each neuron maybe, connects to the next one. And it strengthens that notion. It strengthens my belief that I suck. Neuroplasticity is the concept that you can actually weaken those and you can strengthen something else. So every time that I'm thinking that I suck, instead I literally say, no, I'm great. I'm great. I'm actually great. Even if I don't believe it the first time I say it, I just keep strengthening that and strengthening that until the notion that I suck is so weak that they're not connected anymore. And the other ones are strong. I know you're probably scared and what you know is to keep going. That is not the answer here. It's terrifying to step into the unknown, but allowing yourself to unlearn some of what you currently know and learn other things is going to save your butt in the long run. Let's just put it like this. A productivity hack is not going to help you here. A new 5 a.m. routine is not going to help you here. What's going to help you? Quitting your job is not going to help you here unless you're ready for that. But what you need is to feel your body. You need true, deep rest and to connect with your body again, to reacquaint yourself with yourself. Burnout is like an avoidance of coming home to yourself. And a lot of times underneath of the burnout, there's this feeling of like, I don't know myself anymore. And none of us should ever get to that point. There's literally, I could make a whole nother video on this too. Like there's never a reason to give your life away to a corporation, to a business, to a boss. They don't need that much of you. There needs to be a boundary in place there because in the long run, it will F you. It will mess you up. That's what happened to me. Like I completely lost my sense of self. I forgot how joyful I was, how like I lost my spark. I forgot how much of a happy person I was. I forgot how much I loved yoga. I forgot that I loved being outdoors. Like I literally looked in the mirror after being let go for my corporate job and I was like, who are you? You look so different. You look gray. You look dead. You look, who am I? And not only was looking in the mirror like so disorienting, but where I was living in my body, I couldn't connect. I couldn't connect because I was completely and utterly up here. And in reality, I get like, okay, so maybe you worked up in your job to make like 100K or something like that. And the thought of leaving is scary because you're like, I don't want to revert. Like people act like it's the worst thing in the world to take a pay cut. And I understand completely why. Like I've been there, but you really have to weigh the factors there because pay isn't the only important thing in life. Like your health, like being able to sustain yourself for a long period of time, like to live here on earth is important. Being able to be there for your family and friends is important. Your creative passions and projects is important. Being a kind and good person is important. And if all of that is like down the drain because you don't want to take less than 100K at a job that's sucking your soul out, then we're gonna have to have another talk. And listen, there's also options where if you're burnt out because of your job, there's options where you can find that somewhere else. And it might be a different balance of benefits, money, whatever. But you have to be willing to look at your other options because if you keep going, when you're burnt out, like I said, people are going to notice eventually. And you're not going to get those promotions that you want. You're not going to get, like, what's the point of striving forward in the workplace so hard if you never feel fulfilled? If you never feel like filled up to the brim with happiness, or you never feel like, man, I just had a really good day at work today. Like, you know what I mean? When you get that promotion, you're happy for like a day, a week, and then you're like, how can I get to the next thing? You know what I mean? We're not purely meant to work. What's next in this room? This room. Like, what is going on with this? I don't know what to do with this. Give me advice on what to do with that. So anyways, as someone who has been there, who was in such a deep state of burnout, I've got to tell you that the biggest thing that helped me was rest. And not just sleep, although I did sleep a ton when this first happened. Yes, sleep helped. Improving hygiene, if you're neglecting that, helped. Self-care, like a bubble bath, like getting outdoors, talking to someone. I isolated when this first happened to me, but, hi kitty, but I truly have learned the value of having a support system around you. When you're ready to talk, definitely talk it out with someone. It doesn't even need to be a therapist. If you don't even know how you're going to continue therapy, if you've just lost your benefits, whatever. It's important to know that you don't have to go through all of this alone, and that will help you to move forward quicker if that's what you're looking for. Just remember, like, your worth is not in your productivity, and you're not lazy for watching this video and wanting to address how you're feeling deeply on the inside. If I were you, I would start all of the things I just mentioned, but also consider a journaling practice and a movement practice. The fast track to get yourself back into your body and being able to feel who you really are again is movement. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to like get into physical fitness again and become a runner again and put a lot of pressure on it, because I know you're going to want to, because I imagine that a lot of you who are watching this are overachievers and that's how you got here. And also perfectionism, because perfectionism also gets you here and it is detrimental, girl. You do not need to be perfect. You're perfect as you are. But yes, movement. Movement is so incredibly important. And it can be as simple as stretching. And it don't even try to turn it into some crazy routine. It doesn't have to be like, I'm going to stretch every day at 6 p.m. and I'm going to brainstorm and write down my stretching routine. Like, stop. Stop, girl. You're burnt out. I know your natural inclination is to dive in and do more and plan and make, like square everything away and make it perfect and whatever. That's not what you need. That's not what you need. What you need is to just do it. To just do it today. Maybe again tomorrow. We'll see. Just remember in your mind, remember that movement is going to be essential. It's going to heal you. It's going to help you release what's stored inside. Because your nervous system is what has taken a hit, and that's why you feel the way that you do. You feel burnt out. You might even have adrenal fatigue, especially if you're drinking too much coffee. Now, with all that said, let's do a little bit of movement. So the type of movement I'm talking about, again, it's not the type of stuff that spikes your cortisol. It's not a morning run. It's not pushing yourself to do a really hard yoga class. I'm talking about just natural movement that just feels good to the body. And you don't have to know what you're doing, and you don't have to be perfect, and you don't have to learn how to do the perfect stretch, and you don't have to strive to do more than you're doing currently. You don't have to live in the future, because that's also what a lot of us do, of like, this is how far I can reach my toes, but if I keep doing this every day, then I'll be able to reach my toes this far. Like, practice coming back to the present moment and just being. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. We're not talking about lifting weights, getting fit. We're not talking about, because this is a thing. We want intuitive movement as a form of deep rest, which sounds counterintuitive, but it's going to help your body release, and it's going to help rejuvenate you even more than just sleeping and waking up and still feeling burnt out or still feeling out of touch with self. So you just want to like do some movement, and you're going to feel silly while you're doing it, but that's all right. And then also consider, like, when were the times in your life where you felt most yourself? What were you doing in those times of life? So for me, I think about when I was maybe like 9 or 10, I found a pair of roller skates in the garage, and I wore those roller skates and would just go all over the neighborhood. Boy, that was so much fun, and I just felt like so connected to myself when I didn't even know about being connected to yourself. So something I could do, I didn't actually do this when I was burnt out, because I haven't found a good roller skating spot, but something that I could do is putting my roller skates on, because I do own some, and heading out to go roller skate, and not be scrolling on my phone, not be thinking about filming, not thinking about how I look, just doing it for me. Doing it for me. And we're talking about deep rest here. So what makes you feel rested? Is it cozying up with a book? Is it going for a walk where it's just you and your thoughts? What actually makes you feel rested? You have to do those things. Let me know if you all have any questions on what else to do from there, on the nervous system and healing your nervous system. Let me know if you're curious about what it looked like when I originally was going through my burnout in terms of like the timeline, and any other questions you have. I hope this video was helpful. I know that it's not every answer that you need, because each one of you has a unique situation that you're in, to where it's hard to encompass that in one video. And yeah, just know I'm here, and you're gonna make it through this. All you have to do is remember yourself. That's all you have to do. Just keep coming back to yourself, and it will figure itself out. I love you.